Let me create this awareness of who am I. I am a loveful soul, a loving being, I am a happy soul, I understand that I am playing my part in this body. But I am separate from the role that I play. I am separate from the part that I am playing. I look at my life journey and I see my part briefly. All the things that I have done, that I have been, everything was a part that I was playing. All the life lessons that I have learned, I'm not my hurts and resentments. I'm beyond and more powerful than that. As I sit here with an open heart and an open mind, having faith in what this drama has to offer me. Having faith in myself, having faith that I will pass through. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So, this morning you've dived into love, right? So what are some take-home lessons for you from love? Anyone can share.
Love is not attachment.
Love is not attachment. Love is separate from attachment. Is attachment good or bad? Bad, sure. Why? Because it corrupts the soul. What did you say?
Self-interest.
So attachment is based on some selfish interest. What else? What else did we learn today? What's that? If you're looking for it, it's not love. So when we understand that I am love, Do I have the capacity to give? If I say I want love, that means that I am asking. That means I'm missing something. So I'm asking for it. Is giving better or receiving better? Definitely giving, right? So this is the awareness, or this is called self-esteem, that I remind myself that I am love. And then I'm in a position to give. We have all heard this maybe. Have you heard this? To err is human. To forgive is divine, right? So forgiveness is an act of divinity. And we are all here to learn to forgive. That means we are all here to invoke our divinity, right? What is divinity? Divinity is that purity, divinity is the power to give that we have forgotten somewhere down the line. And instead of giving, we started asking. So we lost our divinity. So with this practice of forgiveness, I'm going to invoke my divinity or become divine, or the one who has the capability to give. Make sense? Okay. So you all learned about the soul today, right? This is who we are. So I am a soul, a tiny point of light. Right now, what's the quality of the soul? What's going on?
Beaming light.
So soul is beaming light. How is my light? How's the light?
Feeling good? Peaceful.
Good, peaceful? Okay. But does it stay like that all the time? No. So what can we say about our light? Can we say that from a 60 watt bulb we are down to like a 0 watt kind of, where we're like really dim? So I think this is what Marianne drew. So you're like these layers of so many things, right, around, and these layers of weaknesses or vices are kind of dimming my light. So whatever actions we perform, whatever choices we make in our life, everything gets registered in the soul. Everything. Every single feeling, every single action, every single thought, every single experience is registered in the soul, good or bad. So when we talk about hurt, when we talk of anger, where is it registered? It's in the soul. So the hurt is in the soul. That's why forgiveness is a very, very private and introspective process. It's not external. It's a very introspective process. And that's why I have to go within to break through that layer, to break through that hurt, to access that one thing that's causing it and remove it. Just like surgery. It's like surgery. So you give anesthesia. What happens if you do a surgery without anesthesia? Yeah. So you give anesthesia, and then you cut, and then you go, and then you remove it, and then you seal it back again. That's how forgiveness works. So sometimes and it's not just a one-time thing. It's an ongoing thing. Because remember, it's not just one time that we've been hurt, right? There have been multiple times we've been hurt. It's not just one time that I was hurt and that's it. No, but I created that hurt over and over and over again by repeating it. Like Sister Dorothy was saying, right? We have the knife, and what did we do each time? We kept stabbing ourselves again and again and again with that knife. So what do you think the wound is like? Yeah? Yeah? So you might feel at times, you might feel overwhelmed, you might not feel anything. Maybe your anesthesia is really good. But you might feel overwhelmed, and that's okay, right? Just remember, it's like whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So whatever happens in Peace Village stays in Peace Village. So nothing goes out, right? But just be open to the process, just flow with it. right? And you can always ask me questions. But I wanted to go deeper into reflection and all that right now. Yeah? Alright, so before we start, we're going to watch a video. And that is Sister Jayanti, who's the European Director of Brahma Kumaris, European and Middle East Director of Brahma Kumaris. And she's sharing something about forgiveness. Oh, okay, we have it.
Greater force. And so when I understand this, I say, spirituality reminds me that whatever it is I've put out is going to come back to me. It's the cause and effect, the boomerang story, karma. Which means that I understand deeply that if I've done something wrong, unless I sort it out and put it right, it's going to come back to me, maybe even multiplied, to teach me more lessons. Because that's how the boomerang works, comes back with even greater force. And so when I understand this, I say, I want to be able to move forward. I want to be able to experience peace and maybe even freedom. It's a very popular word, freedom. Everybody wants freedom, but we don't know how to achieve it or even what it is really. And so when I start looking inside and I see that there are things that I've done that I need to seek forgiveness for, but also I need to have the inner power to be able to change. It serves very little purpose to be able to say sorry and then carry on with the same habits. And most times this is what happens. I can let go of something, but then I carry on with the same pattern of behavior. And so when I say sorry, now with spirituality and realization, then I realize deeply how I need to change, forgive myself, and the same for others. What was my response when somebody wronged me? Am I able to change my responses to them and be able to forgive them so that I can be free to move on? I can move forward without carrying a burden. And so I say that spirituality teaches me all of these things which rearranging the furniture in my head wouldn't necessarily do. Spirituality means coming to that inner experience of peace, of love, of truth, of joy. And if I'm not able to forgive, am I peaceful? Am I loving? Am I able to follow the path of truth? Am I able to experience joy in my life? So literally, it's absolutely a fact that unless I go through the process of very consciously releasing and forgiving, I can't experience the power of spirituality in my life.
We'll watch one more later. So Sister Jayanti mentioned something very beautiful, that forgiveness gives freedom. Freedom from what?
Pain.
Self, pain. Freedom from pain, freedom from past, right? So just as we saw this morning, right? So I'm holding on to something. This doesn't have any weight, but if I'm just holding on to it and holding on to it and holding on to it for 10 months, for 1 year, for a couple of years, what will happen? It's going to hurt me, it's going to leave that pain, right? And then that pain becomes irreparable. I'm going to have to take care of the pain. So forgiveness is freedom from pain, freedom from the bondages that I have created. And that bondage, who created the bondage? I created the bondage. How did I create the bondage? How did I create that pain? By repeating it. By just revisiting the story again and again, just looking at the same scenario again and again, just going back and thinking, what could I change What could I say differently that things would have been different? Do you feel that? Yeah, we go back and we want to change. Can we really go back and change anything from the past? No. So, you know what we're doing in this process of not letting go? I am trapped in this warp of past, right? Time. And I'm not letting the other person also get out. So I'm holding the other person also. You understand? So I'm trying to live the past, and I'm not moving ahead, and I'm not letting the other person move ahead too. That's not divinity, right? Yeah? So I'm kind of affecting two souls, two beings, myself and the others. How many times in the process of hurt, we blame ourselves. We start blaming ourselves. Do we blame ourselves? Yeah? So we start blaming ourselves. I think I spoke too much. Oh, I just wish I had not said that. That was the tipping point. If I had not said that, things would have been different. Yeah? We feel that too. So we start blaming ourselves. We start blaming time. Sometimes we want the other person to ask for forgiveness. So you understand, it's a lot more out there. So there's the game of ego. There's the game of low self-esteem. Yeah, there are a lot of things happening there. Because somewhere, one, I feel that I am in a higher position. They have to ask for forgiveness. They have to say, I'm sorry. Number two, I didn't get any chance for closure. They didn't give me any chance. I could have explained why I said that. You understand? So two things. One, when I say ego, that means I feel that, oh, I have the capacity to forgive. That means I have something. And then the other one is low self-esteem, where I feel that, oh, I wish I could change this. I wish this happened. Right? So we look at these things. Right? So let's move through the... So I want you to just think of this. How would your life be with no hurt of the past? Just take a moment and visualize. How would your life be if there was no bondage of the past? If there was no hurt of the past? How would you be living your present moment? Visualize it. Are you able to visualize, or do you think it's difficult? You able to do that? No? It's difficult? How many of you find it difficult? You're not even able to think that, oh, okay. And how many of you could visualize? Okay, alright. So the reason that I find it difficult is again because I'm trapped with those thoughts. Too many thoughts. I'm not able to break the barrier of jumping to the other side. But just keep repeating this to yourself. How would my life be if there was no hurt? It would be light. It would be happy, for sure. It would be what?
Peaceful.
Joyful, peaceful. I would have been a different person, maybe. Do you think? Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I have mixed feelings about this question, just because I think of the times when I've been hurt, and while it hurts in the moment, thereafter, like, I feel like my capacity to love increased, or like something, like, it made me appreciate the positive more, like,
That's
after.
great. That's great.
So I guess that's why this question is a little hard too.
That's great. No, that's great. Yeah.
I also feel like it assumes that you're blaming that hurt for how you are right now, rather than just accepting that hurt as who you are and
Okay.
maybe like living.
Remember, the hurt is not who I am, but the hurt is something that I've created in me. Okay? So with this question, what I'm doing is, I'm kind of deleting that hurt, or just deleting the feeling that I've been carrying with myself. Okay? So, how would my life be if I'm not carrying that feeling? It would be powerful. It would be loveful. Yeah? Because even if I say that I am a loving person, but there's this one person that I can't love. Right? So, if that thing is deleted, then can I say I'm a 100% loveful person? Right? Okay. So, what is forgiveness? Any thoughts? Yeah. Letting go?
Forgiving myself and having more peace.
Forgiving myself and having more peace. Okay. What is forgiveness?
Let go.
Let go. Anything else?
Acceptance.
Acceptance. Anything else?
Hard.
Hanji?
Hard.
Hard? Forgiveness is hard. Okay. Alright. Anything else?
Compassion.
Huh?
Freedom.
Freedom.
Compassion.
Compassion. For sure. Yes.
Completion.
Completion. Okay. Alright. Very good answers. So, this is the dictionary meaning of forgiveness, right? So, to grant pardon to someone, to cease to feel resentment, to cancel any indebtedness or liability to forgive, loan, right? But spiritually, forgiveness is not an occasional act. It's not like a one-time thing. It's an attitude. So, I just can't say that, oh, today I'm a forgiving person, and tomorrow I may not. Or I can forgive everyone else but this one. Yeah? So it's not that way, right? I'm either forgiving or I'm not. I can't be jumping, acha, today I'm forgiving, tomorrow I'm not, and things like that, right? So it's not an occasional act, it's an attitude. An attitude of maintaining love and compassion for the self and for everyone around. So forgiveness is giving up the right to punish. Forgiveness is giving up the right to punish. When someone does something and I feel this is right or this is wrong. And remember, right and wrong is always relative, right? So, the moment I feel this is wrong, they need to be punished for it. How can they just escape by doing such a thing? Right? So I say that they need to be punished. So I'm not in a position to forgive them. I'm holding on to that. Forgiveness is not forgetting. But what it means is I'm not letting that pain affect me. So right now, what happens is, if there's hurt, there will be people or certain situations or maybe some song or something that you read which will remind you of that hurt. Does it? Yeah? It takes you back to that and you're like, oh. Right? So these things, they affect us. We get influenced by all these things. So true forgiveness means that it's not that I forget about the episode or I just forget about those people. No. It is protecting me from not getting influenced by the effect those people had on me or that person had on me. Do you understand? So now, we all have at least one person, right, who we need to forgive? Everyone? Sure? Okay. So, no, I'm just checking. So, think of this one person, right? And now if this person was in the room, if this person was in the room right now, what would you feel? Anxiety, sadness? What else? You'd feel something? Are you still feeling it now? Anger. You're still feeling it now? You feel all that coming to you a little bit? The moment you think about this person, and this person comes, walks up to you and sits right next to you. You're doing a meditation on this person, by the way, okay? So this person comes, walks up to you and sits next to you and says hello. Om Shanti.
We can only hope.
What will you say?
Om Shanti.
What will you say?
Be polite and Om Shanti back.
Will I say Om Shanti back or will I say,
Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself.
keep it to yourself. Keep your Om Shanti to yourself. I don't need your Om Shanti. I have my own Om Shanti. Yeah. You know the meaning of Om Shanti, right? I'm a peaceful soul. Okay. So this person comes to you, sits next to you and says Om Shanti. What's that?
Like I said, we can only hope.
But visualize this. How does it make you feel? Angry? Okay. Does it make you feel anything at all? Violent? Oh my God. The person says, I'm a peaceful soul. And you feel like hitting him? Hopeful. Yeah. So forgiveness, if I have forgiven, I will not feel anything. I look at them and say, Om Shanti, oh, you're here? Good to see you. Really. And I'll share with you my journey, my story, okay? This actually happened to me. And there was this one time where I was working with someone on a project. And, halfway through the project, I realized that their intentions were not that good about the project, okay? I said, I will have to let the seniors know about this because the aim with which we started this project, I don't think we are getting there. So for some reason, I think they felt insecure, whatever. And it's not one, there were like a couple of them, right? So we were a team. So they twisted the whole story and they went and told certain things about me. Okay, that I am the one blocking the project and then Sonia is doing this and her intention is not pure and things like that. So they totally turned the story on me, right? And here I am, no idea what's happening. And they stopped talking to me. So I get a call and like, Sonia, what's going on? What am I hearing? And I didn't get a chance to even explain. I said, you're not working on this project, your energy is this and things like that. I didn't even get a chance to explain the truth. Okay? Anyways, the project stopped after a while because I always believe the boomerang effect, right? If the intention is not right, it has to stop. So it's law of karma. So anyways, I was in this state of confusion and shock and like, oh, what just happened? Like, how did things just come to me? I was the one trying to save the project. I was the one who's going to go and tell that, oh, these guys are not on the right track and things like that. Well, anyways, I even got this thought that, oh, how can they even continue with this project? Things like they should be punished, they should be answerable. All these thoughts came to me. Anyways, I tried calling them, I tried calling the senior, no one was answering my call, no one was talking to me at all. Okay, and anyone who was trying to speak on my behalf was just shut off. Like, no, she's wrong, she's bad. Okay? And I was in this space or in this thing, oh, how do I work on this? What do I do? I even tried to, they are from a different country, so I even tried to go there to see them. I'm like, what just happened? We were all fine and what just happened, I need to know. Nobody even wanted to see me. They just shut the door on me. Okay? And this happened for a couple of months. I was feeling really, really low, right? Because I didn't get a chance to explain. And then I realized that I can't live like this. Because every time I was going to them, and at one point I even had this thought that, oh, they have to apologize to me because what they did to me was wrong. Because I couldn't function. I lost a lot of weight. I had stopped eating because I just couldn't function. I was like, what? I didn't believe that this could happen to me and not from them. So anyways, it took me a couple of months and that's when I dive more into the spiritual study. I was reading a lot, and that's when I was involved in doing this retreat, Love and Forgiveness. And during this retreat, and again, it's a learning experience for all of us, even for us, when we are doing a retreat. So that's when I started to realize that, if I'm holding on to that, how can I do a topic on forgiveness with you all if I'm not able to forgive? So I had about a month or so to prepare, right? And then I started understanding the subject of forgiveness. I started reflecting, I started going deep, and those are the activities that we are going to do today that help me come out of that circle of blaming and, that shock and everything. So, I share the story with every retreat attendees, and even my first retreat, I remember I shared the story, and someone asked me there that, so do you think you've forgiven them 100%? And I said, I think I have. So she said, okay, what if they come in front of you? What would you do? And right then, I just told her, I'll just say Om Shanti. And, and the session was kind of over, but I started thinking about it. I go, really, what if they came in front of me? What would I do? So I started creating that scene inside. What would I do if they came in front of me? And you won't believe. Next month I was coming to Peace Village again, and right, they were in front of me. They were in front of me. And I just looked at them and I smiled, Om Shanti. And we met at the dining room, so we were in the line for lunch. And the person was right in front of me. And I just came there and I said, and I just took my tray and I said, Om Shanti. Continued. But right then, I realized nothing happened to me. There was no pain. There was no questions. Like I always used to think, if they come in front of me, I'm going to ask this question. Why did you do this? Why did you do this? But at that point, I had no questions. I was like, I passed. Really, like it was a feeling of like being victorious, right? Like, wow, I could do this. I passed. Nothing affected me. So in the past, when we are hurt, when we are talking about that episode or that scene, we feel that anxiety and all that. So, that is what it is. So forgiveness is not forgetting. It's learning from the episode. It's learning from that chapter in our life, moving on, being a better me. Not letting it stop my progress. And no one in this world has the right to stop my progress. Do you think? Do you think any person has the authority or the right to stop my progress? No one. Don't give anyone that authority. Really, take that authority back. We need to take charge of our life. We can't just sit around, why did they do this? Why did this happen? Only if I could change this, or just feeling the hope of one day they will change, and I'm going through that process of suffering. Just with the hope that, they will change. Where my heart is saying that, stop. Don't give anyone the authority. Okay? So that is forgiveness. Not forgetting, but not letting that hurt or the suffering influence me further or take charge of my feeling and emotions. There are no temporary fixes. So forgiveness is a permanent fix, right? So if I said that, I've forgiven them, and if this person comes in front of me and I start crying and I start trembling, it's not a fix. It was just a superficial, something patchy work that I did, right? But it's not a fix. I will know that it is fixed when my emotions and my feelings are stable in this person's presence. Okay? It's an introspective, private, and a very, it's a soul conscious process. And we spoke about that. Any questions so far? Are you all okay? Yeah? Okay. So Om Shanti.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about how we get there?
Yeah, we'll talk about the steps, and I will give you and we will do an exercise. So we will actually go through the process. Okay? So story time. I have a story for you. Okay. Ready? So one day, the sage gave the disciple an empty sack and a basket of potatoes. And he said, think of all the people who have done or said something against you in the recent past, especially those you cannot forgive. For each of them, inscribe the name on a potato and put it in the sack. The disciple came up with quite a few names, and soon his sack was heavy with potatoes. Carry the sack with you wherever you go for a week, said the sage, and we'll talk after that. At first the disciple thought nothing of it. Carrying the sack was not particularly difficult, but after a while it became more of a burden. It sometimes got in the way, and it seemed to require more effort to carry as time went on, even though its weight remained the same. After a few days, the sack began to smell. The carved potatoes gave off a ripe odor. Not only were they increasingly inconvenient to carry around, they were also becoming rather unpleasant. Finally, the week was over. The sage summoned the disciple. Any thoughts about all this? Yes, master, the disciple said. When we are unable to forgive others, we carry negative feelings with us everywhere, much like these potatoes. The negativity becomes a burden to us, and after a while it festers. Yes, that is exactly what happens when one holds a grudge. So how can we lighten the load? We must strive to forgive. Forgiving someone is the equivalent of removing the corresponding potato from the sack. How many of our transgressors are you able to forgive? The disciple says, I have thought about it quite a bit, master. It required much effort, but I have decided to forgive them all, because he wanted to get rid of the sack, right? Very well, we can remove all the potatoes. Were there any more people who transgressed against you this last week? The disciple thought for a while and admitted there were. Then he felt panic when he realized his empty sack was about to get filled again. Master, he asked, if we continue like this, wouldn't there always be potatoes in the sack week after week? Yes, as long as people speak or act against you in some way, you will always have potatoes. But master, we can never control what others do. So what good is the Tao in this case? Tao is the high energy, right? So the master says, we are not at the realm of the Tao yet. Everything we have talked about so far is the conventional approach to forgiveness. It is the same thing that many philosophies and most religions preach. We must constantly strive to forgive, for it is an important virtue. This is not the Tao, because there is no striving in the Tao. Then what is the Tao, master? You can figure it out. If the potatoes are negative feelings, then what is the sack? The sack is that which allows me to hold on to the negativity. It is something within us that makes us dwell on feeling offended. It is my inflated sense of self-importance. And what will happen if you let go of it? Then the things that people do or say against me no longer seem like such a major issue. In that case, you won't have any names to inscribe on potatoes. That means no more weight to carry around and no more bad smells. The Tao of forgiveness is the conscious decision to not just remove some potatoes, but to relinquish the entire sack. The next time you feel hurt, you just have to remember how rotten potatoes smell and let go. Did you like the story? What did you learn? What did you learn? Let go. Easy?
No.
Let go. Let's do an activity on let go. Shall we? Okay. Right. You all have paper and pen? Let's do an activity.
Question on the story.
Yeah.
So the sack was his sense of self-importance, so he can hurt his ego, I guess.
The ego. The sack is the ego, which is holding on to these, which is giving space for the potatoes to smell. So let's look at it this way. The ego is in the soul, right? So the sack is this container which is giving, so in the soul I have created a space for this person to dwell. Think about it. I've given a part of my being to something of the past which is rotting and smelling, and others can also smell it, but sometimes I smell it and I say, it's okay, I'll put perfume, yeah, just quick fixes, it's okay, I try to be happy, but then it's there inside of me. So that's the sack. Yeah? Alright. So let's do an activity and let's see how well you do this, letting go. So write down 3 people very close to you. You can write their names, you can use short forms, whatever you want. But 3 names of 3 people very close to you in your life. Family, friends, whatever, whoever comes to you first. But 3. No, people close to you. People close to you in your life. Okay, next. Write down 3 of your most favorite possessions. It could be like your car, your cell phone, like your possessions. 3 of your most favorite possessions. So first you wrote down 3 relationships, now you have 3 possessions. Next, 3 of your best vacations, the places. 3 of your best vacation places. And now 3 people in your life that you have to forgive. Do we have 3? Okay. Like maybe the 3 people in your life who kind of irritate you, cause you anxiety, or however you want to put it.
The first 3 people were just
Your relationships, close relationships.
I wrote down
It's okay, you can write it down there. So the first 3 are your close relationships. The next 3 are your close possessions. The next 3 are your favorite vacation places. And then the next 3 are people who I'm just thinking of a better word. People who cause you, no, something light. People who cause you to tremble. Or people who cause anxiety in you. Not necessarily they've hurt you. It's okay if you write that. But if you don't have 3 people who have hurt you, 3 people who make you anxious. Done? Everyone? Yeah? Okay. So now we'll start letting go. So I want you to strike off 2 from the list. Choose any 2, strike it off, delete it. Just strike off 2 from the list. So you have this list.
based on like a vacation or possession.
You can choose. So I'm letting you choose and strike off 2 from the list of 12. Easy? Easy? Yeah? Okay. Strike off 3. 3 more. When you're striking off, it's like letting go. It's not affecting me anymore. I can let it go. Easy? Can we do that? So how many are gone out of 12? 5. 5 are gone, right? So you have 7 left. Strike out 4. 4 more. Easy? And now you have to strike out 1 more. You have to choose. Come on. We can choose. Strike out 1 more. So you should be left with 2. Oh, 4, 5. No, we had 7 left, right? So you're left with 2.
No, you said strike out one
So
more.
you strike out first 3.
Yeah.
Then we did 4.
Okay.
Right? Did we do, sorry, we did 2 first, then we did 3, and then we did 4. 9. And then 1 more. 10. So you're left with 2 more. You're left with 2 more. Everyone left with 2 more or more than 2? 2. Everyone left with 2? 2? Anyone more than 2? Was it difficult? Who do I choose? Okay, great. Now strike out the last one. Is it easy? Was it easy to let go? No? How many of you found it difficult? We're just letting on paper. Come on. But see, okay. So now, whatever you were struggling with, look at your list. Look at your list. Whatever or wherever you were struggling with is where your attachment lies. It could be someone who is difficult to forgive. That is also attachment. You know what is that attachment to? I'm attached to the pain. Because I've been going through that pain for such a long period of time. I think that if I let go of this, what will happen? I don't have anything to think about. It will create a void. Who will I gossip about? Who will I complain about? So it creates a void. So that's attachment. Yes, you have to.
So we're supposed to write down 3 people, 3 possessions, 3 vacations, and then 3 people who I need to bring in.
Yeah.
And then you ask to strike off.
To strike off, to let go.
To let go, the first 3 people that I have a hard time forgiving is the 3 people right off the bat that I was ready to let go.
Great. So, okay.
Wait, after that, so the last person is my daughter, but you're saying that's what I have a hard time with attachment with?
So we'll come to that, right? So now, for how many of you was it easy to strike off or let go of people that I needed to forgive? You did that the first? The first 3? Okay. How many of you were struggling to strike off people who I have to forgive? Okay, yeah. Alright. So, when it is easy, that means I'm ready to let go. When I'm struggling, that means it's the same thing, that I'm attached to this thing that the story that I've been repeating inside of me. And now I have to choose that am I ready to let go and create a different space inside of me. You understand? That's the spiritual growth. Now, if you were left with, say, your closed vacation, I think many of you would have just let go. Now, if you're left with the first 3, people close to you, right? Let go. What does that mean? This morning we saw what is true love. True love is free from attachment. And I was sitting back there and I was listening to the parent and, child relationship, right? We say I'm a mother and I have a daughter. So I'm playing the role of a mother. Does that role give me sorrow at times when the child doesn't behave the way that I expect the child to? The sorrow in that relationship or sorrow in any relationship comes because of attachment. Okay? So when I look at my paper and I see that it's difficult for me to let go of this close relationship, then I just have to understand that I have to work on the love or the attachment portion on this relationship. Because
attachment is expectation.
Attachment is expectations, absolutely. So wherever there is attachment, I will feel sorrow or disappointment in any form. When I play the role of a mother, we are always in this role awareness that I'm the mother. I know what is right for you. I'm speaking from my experience. Just listen to me. I want to protect you. Yeah, we are speaking from that role of a mother. But is it coming with this flow of attachment? Remember, attachment brings fear. Where there is fear that what if something happens? Right? So we are talking of attachment, but there are other feelings also with attachment. So there's fear, there's insecurity. So if you're left with one of these relationships that was very difficult, just think about it. That how do I convert this attachment to pure love? Something to think about.
So how about the concern part?
So what about concern? Yeah. Mothers have a very distinct. So, okay. A scene for you. So say your child, your daughter or son is out there partying, and they said they'll be back by 12. It's 2 a.m. They are not back. Not answering your phone. What will be the first thought? Something bad happened. Why? They could just be partying. Right? There's loud music, their phone is on vibrate. But see how we are conditioned and we say this is concern. Is this concern or worry or bad thinking, negative thought? It's fear. So it's not concern. So I should know how to distinguish between fear and concern, attachment and concern, love and attachment, right? These are things. And these are whole different topics, but just something for you to think about in your free time.
In your work situation, did you take any action against these people who lied about you and who their life?
So the question is, in my work situation, did I take any action against these people who lied about me and said certain things? I did mention it to the higher authority, but I didn't. In the beginning, I was expecting that some action should be taken, but later on, when I saw that there's no action being taken, I just let it go. It's okay. Yeah.
When let's say in a work situation, when there is active discrimination going on, harassment discrimination against an individual, and that individual takes positive legal action or whatever action, is there attachment in that?
Good. So if you're taking, say, there is any kind of harassment in any relationship or a work situation, right? Remember, I have to take the necessary action. The awareness or the intention with which I'm taking the action is important, because that is the boomerang effect. Okay? So if I'm taking the action that they should be punished for what they are doing, whereas I want to bring this to the attention of the authorities that this is happening.
So pure,
You see?
Pure intention.
Yeah, the intention. So I have to check the intention with which it is addressed.
If you want to correct a bad illegal, immoral situation, let's say, and you take the action with the idea of not really punishing, but teaching people how to behave properly, I think there's no attachment there, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a big difference between justice and vengeance.
Yes.
Yes.
So I have to understand the difference between justice and vengeance. Yeah? If I'm coming from a vengeance perspective of they have to be punished or this, then the intention is not correct. Because then I'm just looking at my situation only. But if I just want to make sure that this doesn't happen to anyone else in the future, or I just want to make sure that everyone else is protected in a certain way, then the whole perspective is different. You understand? Then there's no attachment. But if I'm coming from that vengeance angle, then there's attachment. Okay? Very good. Alright, so forgiveness is the process of awakening the love within. So remember that if I'm not able to forgive, who is suffering? I am suffering. So it is a process of changing that suffering, awakening that love within, so I can start loving myself first. Forget about the other person. Someone was asking me this afternoon, how, you don't know, living at home with family, we have to go through this, how do we change them? Our focus in our life is always about how do I change them? How will they understand? How will they, love me back? How will they accept me? It's never about, remember, whatever is my thought, and we spoke about this morning, our thoughts create a vibrational energy, right? So we create a vibrational energy around us, which is called the aura. Okay? Now think about this. And Sister Dorothy mentioned this, when she was talking about how did she forgive and how did she cure the cancer. And she said, diet changed her thoughts completely and she changed the company. Company doesn't mean on a physical level company, but again what she meant was company over here. So that's why the saying, a man is known by the company he keeps. A physical company, group of friends, and how much am I influenced by them? Yeah, we meet them, we talk a certain way. Do I still just keep thinking about it? That's the company here. Okay, so making sure what is the company that I'm keeping. That is important, right? So it is the process of awakening this love for the self. I don't want to be hurt anymore. I don't want to continue to torture myself anymore. That is awakening the love within. Not expecting the other person to change. Remember, the moment I expect the other person to change, again, my expectation on you. How much do we have the confidence or faith that I take the responsibility to change myself? Can we take that responsibility? Can I take that charge that no, I know I can change my thoughts. I know I can change myself. And we'll think about it, right? We'll actually think, okay, what if, so if I were to tell you, make a promise today that you're going to put a full stop to these set of thoughts. And we will be so, we will think a lot about making that promise because I don't know if I live up to the promise. How can I expect someone else to change when I don't take my guarantee? Right? So in the Brahma Kumaris, our slogan is self-transformation leads to world transformation. If I change, the world around me will change because I will start vibrating at a higher frequency because of my positive and elevated thoughts. Who will I attract in that higher frequency? People like me, people who vibrate at the same high frequency. You understand? So this is how it works. So I have to first awaken the love within for myself. Yes.
When you say, if I change, the world changes. So I think when we try to go with the slogan, what happens is when we are trying to change, we are expecting the world to change. No. Well, that's what the slogan is saying.
No, the slogan says that I have to take the responsibility for my change. Right. And the world will automatically change.
Right. But then you think that you are changing, and when your thing around is not changing, and you say, well, the world is not changing.
Again, that's expectation then.
Right.
Yeah. So if there's expectation, then I'll feel the disappointment and I'll stop my change. But no, there's no expectation, and that's the thing, right? And we know attachment, greed, anger, right? Ego, all these are vices. So the whole process of each one of us on this spiritual path is to become 100% complete, right? Is to get rid of all these 5 main vices from us. Of course, we can't say each one, none of us is like 100% perfect, but we are striving towards it, right? And we see the transformation happening, one step at a time, and we definitely see the transformation. Yes.
So to add to that, when I change the working, I think also like when you're working on yourself, it's your perspective. When you change things,
You will see things differently.
Even
Absolutely.
if things are same, they look different.
They will not affect you anymore, right? It's like wearing red glasses and seeing everything red. That doesn't mean everything turned red, right? But my perspective has changed. That's what it means.
But with pure intention, it will happen because
It does.
At the end of the day, I'll feel good.
It does. It definitely does. So forgiveness is the healing of the perception of separation. Because again, if it was a very nice relationship, and if I cherish that relationship, and say something went wrong in the relationship and we are separated, then I feel the hurt of that separation. And what do we revisit? The good times in that relationship. And we want those good times back. So what I start doing is, in my mind, I start creating this story, or I start living the good times again and again in my mind. And that's why I don't want to forgive. Are you with me? You understand? So when I am unable to forgive, it means there is something I value more outside of me. Something that is going against my true self. So forgiveness is directly related to my self-worth. Self-worth, self-esteem. Individuals who have self-esteem issues tend to be very defensive. They hold on to things. This feeds their ego. Good. So we have another video. Should we take a break now? Are you guys okay? You want to take a break?
Can we go back one? Thank you.
Should we continue for 15 more minutes?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll watch another video. And this is on self-forgiveness.
I have a question.
Yes.
So the individuals who have self-esteem issues, if we forgive them, but we're still around people who have self-esteem issues and they don't forgive. So would you suggest we just continue to be in a state of forgiveness to deal with that?
I don't
You know
get it.
what I'm saying?
No.
Alright. So I forgive you, but you have these self-esteem issues, so you are never in a state of forgiveness. Right? So you're always judging, complaining, whatever, right? So what do you suggest for us to go be healed and walk out of here with like this new forgiveness bag? But how
But someone else has not forgiven you. Yeah, so okay, nice. So how does it matter? How does it matter if they have not forgiven you? You are getting rid of your burden. It's their burden. Let them take care of their burden.
I got that, and let's say it's my mom.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say I'm not getting rid of my mother, right?
You gotta keep
She's
her
still,
in line.
she's still holding on to this, imagined suffering of hers. And so I have to deal with her imagined suffering over and over and over again. So you're suggesting I just be like, oh, your problem, Mom.
No. No, you were saying something?
You have to keep it, unfortunately, people that vibrate at those frequencies. Not to say, it's easy to stay cut them out of your life.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to keep a safe distance. You have to just accept that it's so hard. It's so hard. Like, I say that because I've been there. I have that relationship of lack of with my biological father. And to draw him in closer into my life invites more of the damage and toxicity, not only to me, but also to my children. Whereas, you can send a card, I acknowledge that, I forgive you. But, we say forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting.
Yeah.
There's a
So,
reason.
So forgiveness is not cutting that relationship, not telling that, oh, it's your problem, take care of it, I have a forgiveness badge, I went to this retreat, why don't you go to the retreat and you learn to forgive? not exactly that. But forgiveness is also having empathy. Yeah, also having empathy, understanding from where they are coming from. It could be so many things, right? Going on, their childhood, their memories, their this thing, right? And so just understanding their perspective, just having that empathy and pure wish that, I see you as a soul, I see you going through this journey, and I just wish you love. I just wish you good. And I just wish you, lots of happiness. This is having empathy. Yeah? Not cutting the relationship off. No. Someone else had anything to share? Yes. Yeah, I heard you. So and that's the video. Let's watch the video and we'll discuss about that, right? This is on self-forgiveness.
If I want to be able to move forward, I can't hang on to anything of the past. Example, if I hold on to this chair, how far am I going to be able to walk carrying the chair with me? It's going to be pretty heavy and cumbersome, and it's going to make me stop and say, look, I can't manage. And so sometimes we'd like to be able to move forward in our life, and yet we find ourselves stuck with things. And I think that's the moment, if I'm on a spiritual journey, to actually ask myself the question, where is it that I'm stuck and why am I stuck? And maybe what I'll find is that I haven't been able to forgive. Maybe myself, maybe others, and as a result of that, I'm not able to step forward. With compassion for the self, I can learn to let go and say, okay, realization, and now step forward. And if I've been able to forgive myself, it's more likely that I can learn to forgive others around me. If I haven't been able to forgive myself, inside out, whatever I'm doing to myself is what I'm going to do to others. I won't be able to forgive them either. I learned something very important in terms of being able to forgive, and that is that if I've experienced having done wrong and someone else has been able to forgive me, I remember that feeling, and I remember the gratitude and appreciate what I have been able to receive, and in return this is what I do to another. And where I don't forgive, more than likely others around me are not going to forgive me either. There's a mechanism, a subtle mechanism of energy that's at work. I forgive, others will forgive me. I don't forgive, the others are going to hold my mistakes and put them in front of me again and again.
Did you get it? So, if I have to forgive myself, what do I have to do? I have to love myself the way I am, just accept myself the way I am. For example, and I think because you shared, I'll give the same example. So say someone is showing an unconditional love towards me, and because of whatever reasons, I'm not able to reciprocate that love back to the person. Do we feel guilty about it?
Yes.
I would feel guilty about it. What would I do to myself? I will feel guilty and I will literally just beat myself. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Now remember that everything that we think, feel, everything is registered in the soul, right? All our childhood memories, everything that we went through, everything is in the soul. So and that's called our subconsciousness, okay, the subconscious mind. You'll understand more about it when you do the meditation course, but let's call it impression or the subconscious mind. So everything that I have experienced, I have gone through, all feelings, emotions is in the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is like an iceberg. We only see 5% of it. 95% of subconscious is deep. Okay? In our life, we function because of our subconscious. Whatever I have in my subconscious is what comes out without me taking any charge, without me even understanding why am I doing it. That's when I know it's coming from the subconscious. So if I have to change my subconscious feeling and emotions, I have to change at that level for me. So I don't know what the reason is, but I'm not able to appreciate the love that is given to me. I don't know the reason. There are people around me who love me a lot, but I don't think I'm worthy enough to accept their love. There would be people around me, always there, but I still feel I'm alone. So these sanskars, these emotions and feelings are coming because of some past memories or some past impressions, which we call the iceberg effect. Okay? So what I have to do is in my meditations, and especially as soon as I wake up in the morning and right before going to bed, because these two times are the times when the subconscious mind becomes active and the conscious mind goes to sleep. Okay? So right before we are going to sleep, what happens? Our subconscious mind is getting active, our conscious mind goes to sleep. Whatever information, whatever knowledge, whatever self-respect point I give myself at that time before going to bed, it goes directly into my subconscious. It changes the subconscious, and that's when transformation starts happening. So if I have something like, I don't feel worthy enough, let me create this thought of who am I? I am a loveful being. I am a happy being. I am God's child. I am worthy. So create these thoughts. I love myself. Yeah, thoughts like this. Not just repeating them like mantra, like you know how we do the meditation. So you have to create that thought and go into the experience of that thought. Okay? And then go to sleep. If we look at our lifestyle, how many of us go to bed watching TV? Reading the news? Looking at WhatsApp? Fighting? Yelling? Upset? Reading something? Yeah? It really matters how we go to bed. The first thing, the last thought with which I go to bed will be the first thought that you wake up with. So then your first thought automatically is the foundation of the day. And again, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes for the conscious mind to regain its consciousness and the subconscious to become subconscious. So again, as soon as I wake up, the first 15-20 minutes, whatever thoughts I create go directly into the subconscious. So if I am waking up in the morning feeling, I don't feel like going to work today. Oh, what a life. Oh, again the same boss. Oh, this. So if you're getting up in the morning thinking about our problems in life, it's the foundation of my life. And you'll see yourself thinking about exactly the same thing throughout the day. Because that was your foundation of the day. So self-forgiveness starts this way. Changing on the sanskar level. Yes.
Yes. So, does that also reflect into our dreams?
Yes, it does. It does. And that's why, sometimes in our dreams, you would have noticed that whatever we think about throughout the day or whoever we think about throughout the day comes in our dreams. And like, oh, why is this person in my dreams? Because subconsciously, I am thinking about that person. Maybe I don't even realize that I'm thinking about them. But subconsciously, I'm thinking about them.
Sister Sonia, this is a very interesting thing that you introduced. And I was reading up on something, and they mentioned that if you want to learn something and retain it, you do it before you go to bed.
Yeah.
And what happens is that you learn something, and you go to bed. Your mind has time
to
during sleep to process it, and you will retain it better.
Yeah. So again, if I'm looking at self-forgiveness, this is how I work with it. Okay? Yes.
So the subconscious mind is able to be changed over time.
Yes. Yes. It does get changed. But consistent practice. Okay?
And
Right.
I'm sorry. You know, if you meditate on a thought that I will attract
Abundance in my life? Yes.
would that happen?
Yes, it does. So you can meditate on anything that you want. That's a whole different topic. But remember, if I'm trying to invoke divinity within, divinity means abundance. Abundance of not just virtues, but abundance of everything in my life. Perfect relationships, all the virtues, all the powers, everything. That's abundance. So that's divinity. I can invoke that in my life. Yes. Okay. Should we take a break? Or you want to continue?
Continue.
What? No, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I have the practice of going for 4 hours in a stretch. But no, I'm just... Okay. Let's do this activity and then you can just walk around, get water or whatever, right? But I want you to ask yourself this question. What do you gain by not forgiving someone? What do you gain? Are you gaining anything by not forgiving someone? You can ask yourself. And you can write it down. So now list the benefits and negatives of forgiving and not forgiving. And now ask yourself, what are the benefits and negatives of forgiving that person? So you can do this exercise, really easy. So just think of this person. We'll start with one today. So think of this one person that you need to forgive. Why are you not able to forgive? Are you getting any gain by not forgiving? Write it down. Now list the benefits of forgiving and the negative of not forgiving. List. Write it down. So write it down. What will I gain by forgiving? What will I gain by not forgiving? If I gain anything. So I'll give you 10 minutes and then just get your water.